According to Section 3 of the Access to Information Act, every citizen is supposed to access information easily and in a timely manner. The Act provides for a maximum of 21 days within which a citizen's information request is responded to. Delayed release of information leads to the loss of usability of the information, especially for journalistic work, as well as the enforcement of human rights and freedoms. Addressing journalists at Uganda Media Center, Robert Sendogwa, the Executive Director of Africa Freedom of Information Center, says that they established that systems for implementing the law were not available, calling upon the Ministry of ICT to give support to ministries, departments and agencies to implement the Act.
We also established that systems for implementing this law were not in place. And this is why we are calling upon the Ministry of National Guidance, ICT and National Guidance to prioritize giving support to MDAs so that they are able to implement this act and ensure that citizens can access the information these agencies have. We also call upon the African Union, UNESCO, the United Nations Office, the United Nations, the UN Human Rights, to support the government of Uganda and other African governments to adopt and effectively implement respective national access to information laws. We call upon civil society organizations to mainstream access to information in their respective strategies and plans, because access to information is about everything, whether it is about health, education, or women's rights. Information is at the center.
We called on Ugandan Parliament to allocate funds to ministries, departments and agencies to facilitate the implementation of Access to Information Act.
Parliament also should allocate sufficient budget to every institution, ministries, departments and agencies to facilitate the implementation of the Access to Information Act. And Parliament should also urgently amend the Access to Information Act and bring it in line with the model law on access to information for African Union member states to include relevant private bodies within the scope of disclosure, reduce statutory timelines within which agencies must respond to information requests they receive, and strengthen the oversight for the implementation of the Access to Information Act through an establishment of an independent and well-resourced Information Commission.
The Honorable Minister of State for ICT, Godfrey Baluku Kabyanga, encouraged all public institutions to avail information of fundamental interest to citizens who are seeking for trust and clarity in the times of crisis.
We encourage all public institutions to continue displaying leadership by proactively disclosing information of fundamental interest to citizens who are looking for trust and reassurance and clarity in the times of crisis.
Let me begin by expressing our solidarity with all stakeholders and renewing our commitment to work with the government, development partners, civil society and media organisations towards a safe and secure working environment for journalists. We commend the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, UNESCO, the Africa Freedom of Information Centre and Twawezi East Africa for the partnership with our office for organising this launch on the theme of The Right to Know, Building Back Better.
Baluku, who launched the commemoration of International Day for Universal Access to Information, says a government is considering reopening Facebook. The freezing of Facebook by a government in Uganda has negatively impacted business conducted online.
The Minister has told you that we are negotiating, and negotiations are still going on. But you should also know that we are a sovereign state. There is no social media network or any other media network that can hold us at what? at ransom. We must put our position very clear as a sovereign state that this is what we want and this is what we don't want. But negotiations are going on with Facebook, and very soon you will enjoy those services. Very soon, I promise that.
It is an obligation of the state to sensitize its citizens on the right to information. However, Uganda's citizens, including information officers and various officials in some government ministries, departments and agencies, remain ignorant about the existence of the law on access to information. Other Ugandans are even being asked to pay money for them to access information.
I don't know yet. I don't know whether my colleagues here know, but there is little money you're supposed to pay for some information. It's not really a lot. But I think the issue is not the money that you pay. But I think the issue is how fast you get the what? The information. It may not be the money, because some of it is 5,000, something like that. I think one current center which is around 20,000. But how fast do you get the information? And we are handling that as a ministry. We are coming up with a communication strategy, which I think will be completed within a month, where we are bringing together all ministries and agencies so that we have some single line of communication, so that when you need information, if you can't get it from any agency, you come to our ministry and we shall get that information.
The law says that information should not be charged. There should be no access fee. It should be free of charge. It says that, however, citizens can pay for processing fees, e.g. photocopying. So access itself is free. But for example, if you want, say, maybe, let's say, Register of Electoral Commission, which is in millions of pages, the cost would be very high, maybe for that agency to afford, if you wanted it in hard copies. So they say in that case, they can pay photocopying fees or bring a flash and then the agency gives. But the practice is different. For example, I have on my desk a response from National Medical Stores where we're asked to pay 10 million shillings. This is not in accordance with the law. I also read in the newspapers last year where someone was asking for documents, academic qualifications of someone from the Electoral Commission, and I think they asked for 300,000 shillings. So that is against the spirit of the law, and I think citizens need dialogue with the government on this regard so that the law is implemented in line with the spirit of the law.
That is the dialogue we shall be having with you and others. So you let us keep dialoguing. Probably by the end of 2 weeks, we shall come out with resolutions that we can sell to other entities.
Information can be generally described as facts, a collection of factual details about a specific subject. Access to information in this context is the ability to access information which is under the control of the government institution. Access to information is a fundamental human right recognized by international human rights instruments, including the Article 9 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which provides that. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV.